Totally true. We trust him. Sit down, shut up, will you please? Not a step with those two. Rob, everybody. Hey. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. For those of you who don't know me, most of you do, my name's Rob. So, I've known Steve for about 40 years. Not you thinking, how could you have known him before he was even born? So, Steve and I first became friends when we were both toddlers. Back when he was just a short, tubby kid full of mischief. Nothing's changed much since. So, we became friends at the local social club, where our parents used to drink whilst we were allowed to rave free, like you could back in those days. This went on for many years. Steve and I used to roam further and further and get up to more and more mischief. Most of which I can't repeat because our parents still think we were good boys. Carry. No. Eventually my family moved to a house on a road just behind Steve's, where our back gardens backed onto each other. And that's when the adventures really started. So some of the things I can tell you about are the rope swings we used to build, trees we climb and fall out of, our business venture, buying and selling BMX bikes, SBRO. Remember that? Yeah. Made you feel good, didn't we? No. We used to build go-karts and fall out of them along with the 20s. That's Matthew and Michael, we were always known as the 20s. We both were in the Boy Scouts and we both got expelled from the Boy Scouts. Yeah, just normal boy stuff. Anyway, we grew up a little bit and motocross bikes. And we rode them together for many years. We had great fun and a lot of injuries until we both realised we were both getting too old and fat. So we decided we'd run the Reading Marathon to get fit. Now, Steve was truck driving at the time, and I'm sure he'd be more than happy to tell you about that in great length. Anyway, Steve assured me he was doing training runs at every truck stop we come to, and not eating burgers. Well, it turned out to be a bit of a fib, didn't it, Steve? This was proved on the day of the marathon, when we were overtaken by a blind girl, a guy carrying a fridge, Reading's oldest runner, and a camel. We did get to the end, which was a massive achievement for a couple of middle-aged fat blokes dressed as hula girls. Steve's not known for his timekeeping skills. And in fact, he has his own time zone, Brooker time. Otherwise known as late. Becca, I'm sure you'll remember, one of the first times I had the pleasure of meeting you was the boat story. So I'm going to tell the boat story, very briefly. Steve decided he was going to buy a boat. So he phoned me up and asked me if I'd help him to move it. Sounds good, I said. A few beers, jaunt down the river, what could possibly go wrong? Steve. Well, he picked me up 6 hours late because he had a small job to do on the way. So we didn't get on the river until 6 o'clock when it was starting to get dark. And combined with the fact we had no lights and only half a tank of fuel, it was never going to be plain sailing. Huh? We did have beer, yeah. Neither of us knew how long the fuel would last, and it turns out not long enough. Now, they were both quite relaxed about most situations, apart from me doing this. There was a moment of panic when we were drifting with no fuel, no lights, in the pitch black towards a large party boat heading straight towards us. Fortunately, we drifted into the bank. Unfortunately for Steve, he jumped ashore straight into something the cows left behind. It was at this point Steve's dad Barry came to the rescue and brought us down some fuel along with Becca, who had been waiting for hours at his house and didn't even know he was buying a boat. As we walked up and met Barry and Becca, we could tell neither of them seemed happy to see us. I knew I was getting the blame regardless of fault. But we eventually got back safely, and this was Becca's first introduction to one of mine and Steve's adventures. Yeah. That's right, yeah. got back alright, didn't he? Wow. There's a bit more to that story. I could fill you in on that. But I'll say it out loud. Anyway, Steve always has been and always will be my best mate. And it's genuinely an honour for him to ask me sorry to be his best mate. Steve, a great bloke who gets on with everyone he meets, and there are loads of other people he could have chosen to be his best man, most of which are sat here pleasantly relieved there's not them stood here trying to Oh, I can't do that bit, Steve's just done that bit. So Steve, I cannot thank you enough for giving me the opportunity to be your best man and for sharing your special day. You've been a fantastic mate to me for all these years, and I'm sure it'll continue. Becca, I would like to say how wonderful you look today, and Steve is a very lucky man. Anyone that's spent time with you two knows how great you are together, and I would like to wish you both a lifetime of happiness, and good luck with this donkey. All that I want to do is ask you to stand and join me in wishing Mr. and Mrs. Brooker a long and happy life together filled with love and laughter.